Gabriel, Reese, hey, congratulations for the sake of Vicious.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So much violence in a film like this. So who came up with the idea?
We both did. We're huge mall rats. We're always, when the malls were open, and we would eat in our, whatever, Caribbean Queen, Jimmy the Greek, whatever, and we just throw ideas at each other. And this one stuck to the wall. And we were both very angry at the time too, coming out of our two previous films that we both did. And out of that anger, you're looking at things in life going, well, at least this didn't happen and this didn't happen. And well, what would make you more angry? What would make you angry as a human being? And that touches into the theme of the film, right? The heart of it with what happened to our lead character. So, 2-page outline, and then Reese went to town. He's a really good writer, and he wrote the script, and that was kind of it. We shipped it off to our friends at Raven Banner, our producers, and that was kind of it. Reese, you want to add?
The goal was, again, we wanted to make something really aggressive and in your face and dark and dirty and nasty and twisted, and we didn't want to feel restrained by anything. We didn't want to worry about that. We just were like, let's just make the thing we want to make and see where it goes from there. And, as you pointed out, super bloody, super violent. That was our mandate. We're like, too many films that we see nowadays, specifically lower budgeted indie films, they seem to hit this wall when it comes to the violence. And they never go that extra mile. And I said, that's it. We're going to go that extra distance, And we mostly did. We've been saying the original script was way more violent than what we managed to get on screen, but we got pretty close. So,
hold up. You said the original script was way more violent. So what was actually cut out? I mean, what? Decapitation?
Pretty close. There was just more implementing of. I mean, there was a point there where I don't want to spoil anything, but I mean, there was full on disembowelments. There was a really nasty disembowelment at the end of the movie that we didn't get to shoot with. Ended with climax with a guy puking blood all over the place. That I just thought was the perfect ending to the sequence. And then I think another one that we cut out. Sorry, that's just coming to mind is. He ripped a table leg off at one point and snapped it over his knee, so he had a jagged end. And then he impaled it into one of the guy's faces against the fridge, and then ripped it out and kind of left this giant hole in the face. But the guy was still alive, and it was spewing out everywhere. There's a lot of stuff like that. Like I said, I was just I could write a book called 99 Ways to Kill People.
How do you guys bounce these ideas off of each other? You guys lock yourselves in a room and just say, okay, let's come up with so many dastardly ways to kill off henchmen. How do you guys do it?
I think I remember it as sending Phil a script and then Phil calling me and going, dude, what are you thinking here? So I remember after you read the bathroom scene, you had to call me and be like, sweet Jesus, it just doesn't stop.
No.
Hammer in the eye and then the knife in the throat.
Yeah.
Oh, and there was another one we cut. Yeah, it went further than that. So he slits the guy's throat in the bathtub, and that's where it ends in the movie. But in the screenplay, the guy kept fighting. So Chris digs his hand into the hole and rips out his esophagus and shows it to him.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if the two of us were coming together to do a movie, two directors, we needed it to be an assault.
Yeah.
It needed to be an attack.
Yeah.
Okay, there's two guys coming together. It needs to be double down on the damage, double down on the violence.
Yeah. And I'm a massive fan of I grew up as a kid just obsessed with special makeup effects. And I wanted to be a makeup effects artist. So when I have the opportunity to write really nasty, gross effects, I get very excited because I just like the art of how you can pull them off. And it was important for us for all the stunts and the action. It had to be practical. It had to be real. And the only visual effects we have in the movie are the muzzle flashes on the guns. Other than that, we did every single effect on camera in real time. So no CGI blood whatsoever. All real.
I love that.
Yeah.
I was I was afraid to ask you guys, like, what movies you guys watched as children. I mean, I guess you guys grew up and came out okay, right?
I think so. I mean,
Got it right here, The Gate.
yeah, the gate. I can't twist it over there, but I've got an original 1985 poster for George Romero's Day of the Dead. So I'll have you know, though, I love The Lion King. I grew up watching plenty of normal movies as well, but
The movies that that influences kids to adults. This is terrific.
Yeah, exactly.
Predator 2.
Predator 2.
I remember being a kid because this is when video stores were out. In my parents' basement, there was a French doors that led into the basement. So every Friday night, my dad would pick me up from school. We'd go to the video store, rent 2 movies. I would rent Star Wars probably or something, and he would rent some adult action film. And we'd go get pizza, go home, and then we would watch my movie later on that night. And then okay, time to go to bed. So I would go to bed. But what I learned is that he would watch his rated R restricted action movie. But I would go down the steps. He would think I was sleeping. My mom was in bed. And I would sit on the steps. And the way the French doors were angled, it would reflect the TV off the glass. So I remember my first viewings of these movies were through like the glass in the French door and like seeing Predator 2. I'm just like, what is this freaking movie? This is insane. And then Saturday morning would roll around and I would wake up extra early, steal the VHS tape off the kitchen counter, not watch Saturday morning cartoons, and go watch Predator 2 at like 8 a.m., 9 a.m. on a Saturday morning.
Once this movie's released, there's going to be some kids going to be sneaking to watch this movie too,
I hope so. We gotta get a whole new generation going here. So
now we understand you love practical effects, but how do you guys pull off the fight coordination in cramped spaces? I mean, that was a feat by itself because you literally destroyed everything.
Yeah, I mean, the trick is that you hire maniacs as stunt guys to do it, and you just watch them work their magic. I mean, we were shooting in a house that was going to be demolished about 2 months after we were done with it. So we kind of had free reign to do whatever we wanted. Gabe and I had planned all the fights, and they were very detailed in the script, but it was also written for a very different house location, because originally we were going to build it as a set, and we were not able to do that. So once we got into that house, which was maybe only 3 weeks before we started shooting, we had to completely rethink everything. And we had an amazing stunt team that would come in and they would just plan it on the day. I mean, we would talk about it beforehand with them, but because of the nature of our schedule, we didn't have time for rehearsals with the cast or the stunt team. So it was literally those fights were created on the spot, on the day, and then executed in that same time. And I mean, they are what they are. Like, they are pretty much real fights, we don't have very many stunt props or weapons there. Like, they're taking hits from hammers and crowbars, and they're being thrown into real glass and padded, of course. But yeah, we went for it. That's how we did it. So
yeah.
So when you're filming sequences like this, because you're going into walls, you're going into cabinets, you're going into glass, is it just one, you make sure that you could get this on one take? Because obviously you can't rebuild these sets, right?
Go ahead, Gabe.
Yeah. Sorry, I just stared at, I love cats. Sorry.
I was watching the cat too. It's like,
I was playing. Yeah, no, they, like, some of the scenes we had to do in one shot or 2 shots or break it up, but our stunt team would go in, and because it was such a tight space, we couldn't all be there. So like one of our stunt core, TJ, would go in, or Adam. They would work with the actors, go through the script what we wanted, and then we would come in and watch what they had. And then when we filmed it, we couldn't get carried away with like, oh, it has to be polished, it has to be this, it has to be that. We had to just keep it handheld, essentially. And even lighting wise, we had to be 360 degrees, right? So we had to just top light everything and just shoot. Once you let it go, it's like a car crash. You're just trying to capture it from all different angles. A few moments you'd be just yell, you'd be watching them on a monitor, you yell, pause, okay, everyone pause, pause, pause. we pull the camera around. Okay, keep going just to get another angle. We did have 2 cameras for the action scene to give us that coverage, but again, it was like a rolling car crash, and you just had to get your basics first, and then if you had time, you get your, what you want.
They had to feel real, though. The fights, we didn't want them to feel. I mean, they are staged, but we didn't want them to feel like highly choreographed. Like Superfly karate sequences. Like we wanted these to feel like real fights. These are brawls. These are like barroom brawls where you have people that don't necessarily know how to fight. How's this going to look? Sweat, blood, the mishmashing of bodies, the heavy breathing. Like it had to feel like it's a mess. So
excellent. Well, let me bring up one more thing before I let you guys go, because this has always been a debate with me and my friends, is why do henchmen always wear masks and so on when they're intending to kill everybody and leave no witnesses behind? And I try to explain to them, it's just because it's the John Wick scenario where you just use the same 6 stuntmen in every scene. but
there you go.
Why don't you guys take it on this debate?
I mean, that's it. It's every B movie, action movie, B movie, independent action movie thing. That's what you do. It's part of the fun to watch these, because there's scenes where Reese and I are wearing the masks in the film. There's a few scenes. He's the one that gets shot in the shoulder by the door because we're shooting at, I don't know why, but, he just had to jump in. And plus even the makeup and stuff, well, like it was just, you had to jump in. It just was budget, right? To keep it down. And, it was Halloween and we wanted a little sense of mystery too, and just coolness, right? Like you got these masks going on, it's just cool. It just adds it feels more like I don't know, like I can't explain it. Just like as a little nerd kid too, seeing guys with helmets with knives, it just looks cool.
And I mean, if you think about it, just even from their standpoint, I mean, it's shock value and maximum attack and quick attack.
Yeah.
And it doesn't give them anything to focus on. So if you're coming into a house with a mask and you're being that aggressive, it's even more terrifying to the person that you're trying to do this to, So, but yes, your first answer was the best answer, which is that, well, we only have 5 guys, so, better put them in masks.
Most excellent. Well, gentlemen, hey, congratulations for the sake of Vicious. I find it enjoyable. I don't know, maybe I'm just sick and twisted. I just love blood and gore, but definitely rewatching this over and over again.
Amazing.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye now.
See ya. Thanks.